ERCOT is handling this cold blast. Here's an edited portion of that interview.
Pablo, thank you very much for joining us. This is really a critical time for Texas, for you, for ERCOT, and all of us are keeping a very close eye on what the grid is doing. We see now, called for an extension of the conservation request for tomorrow, for Tuesday, and tell me why that is.
So first off, thanks for having me on, Brett. It is a critical time. I want to start off by saying thanks to all the Texans who responded to this morning's conservation. It really made a big difference. We got through this morning. Power's consistent, reliable. That's what we want to see. Tomorrow morning, things look a little bit more intense than this morning. So that cold, extreme cold front that's been coming through Texas, it's going to move its way down all the way into South Texas by tomorrow morning. This morning, down early in Brownsville, it was near 50 degrees. Tomorrow, it could be more than 20 degrees colder down in that area. Houston is expected to be more than 10 degrees colder tomorrow than it was today. So that deep freeze is intensifying and getting deeper going into tomorrow. In addition, today was a holiday, Martin Luther King Day. So a lot of kids weren't in school today. A lot of folks may not have been going into work. So the wake up time and when energy starts getting used in the morning typically gets spread out over a longer window on a holiday. Tomorrow's a regular work day. So we expect to see a little bit more of a concentration of electric demand peak in the morning at around the same time. So those two factors, the colder weather, the fact that it's not going to be a holiday tomorrow, both contribute to tomorrow potentially having more risk, which is why we needed to get another conservation appeal out and ask Texans if they can help us by conserving if it's safe for them to do so.
Do you feel good about tomorrow morning?
I'll say that it's elevated risk tomorrow. I feel good that I know that we are doing everything that is available to us to make sure we're going to keep the power on tomorrow. I do feel good about that. I feel good knowing that all of the electric providers across the state, whether they're in the traditional thermal power plants, whether they're running the renewable wind farms or solar farms, or the newest supplier in our grid, battery operators, they're all working hard to make sure that their energy is going to be ready tomorrow. That, and I know that we've seen real productive help when Texans have leaned in and done a little bit of conservation to help us. That combination, Brett, makes me feel a lot better about tomorrow, and I know that we'll be able to get through it.
I know a lot of people are like, I'm not going to compromise my creature comforts to help politicians in Austin. Do you understand that mindset? And how do you respond to that?
Of course, I understand. Folks want their electricity to work all the time, no matter what. They don't want to have to think about it. They don't want to have to worry about it. And what so many Texans have been through when Winter Storm Uri came through, I don't blame them. That was a terrible, terrible experience and a terrible event. So what I would tell them is, when you pitch in to help, you're helping your fellow Texans. You're helping your neighbors. You're helping, the people around your community, because every little bit adds up. And if we can get through it without sacrificing too much creature comfort, it really does make a difference. If you're able to adjust that thermostat just a little bit, and still stay safe. If you're able to, do a load of laundry or do the dishwasher, run it a little bit later in the day after the sun's come up, all of that adds up across millions of Texans. And unbelievably, we get through these difficult events together and we find ways to move forward.
ERCOT CEO wanted to add that he felt Texans chipping in this morning really did help the grid today, and he says there's always the possibility of localized outages. In case that happens, he recommends reaching out to your local power company directly. Victor, Nicole, back to you.
Thanks, Augustine, for that. All right, we have some more video to show you from across Texas. This is a little girl in North Texas. Okay.